This is Raiwan Khare with Junior Certificate Mathematics lesson. Today we are looking at revision and we are revising Mathematics Paper 2. But before we can look into the revision questions, let us have a look at some of the points that you are expected to know. You are expected to have with you a scientific calculator. In this paper, you are going to need a calculator. You are allowed to use a calculator in this paper. Therefore, bring with you a scientific calculator. Not just any calculator, but a scientific calculator. And then 2, a set of mathematical instruments. Also in this paper, you are expected to bring a set of mathematical instruments. Now let us continue with our discussion. And then how do we discuss this paper? We are going to look at the revision questions. The first question says, the first 4 terms in a sequence are 2, 5, 8, and 11. Then it says, write down the 5th term. Write down the 5th term of the sequence. So you are given the sequence there, and then you are expected to write the 5th term. Remember, this is a structured paper where you are to work your answers. The working of answers here is very important. You don't just write the answer, but you work them out, because the method there is very important. You need to show the examiners how you got your answer. Right, let us answer this question. We got the sequence 2, 5, 8, and then 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're expected to find the 5th term. That is the next term after 11. What we can see is, to get the 5 here, 3 has been added to 2 to get this 5. So every time it means you have to add 3. Here also add 3, because 5 plus 3 will be 8, and then 8 plus 3 will be 11. So it means to get the next term here, the 5th term, we will have to add 3 to 11. And then what is 11 plus 3? It's 14. So the 5th term, it's equals to 14. Remember to answer the question. It says write down the 5th term. So the 5th term is equals to 14. After working out here, you need to indicate that your answer, the 5th term, is equals to 14. Right. Let us look at the next question. That is B of the same question. It says, what is the rule in terms of n for finding the next term? So you have to find the rule in terms of n for finding the next term. So this question basically is looking for an expression of the nth term. So this is referred to as an expression for the nth term, or the algebraic form of the sequence. So what is our sequence? Our sequence is 5, 8, 11, 14. So let us have it here. It's 2, 5, and then what do we have? 2, 5, 8, 11, and then we have 14. It says you are to find an expression for the nth term. So we'll have to find what we call the first difference. 5 minus 2 is 3. 8 minus 5 is 3. 11 minus 8 is 3. And then 14 minus 11 is 3. So what we can see here is the first difference here is a constant. Now, when the first difference is a constant, it means the sequence there is linear. And when it's linear, it means it will take the form, when the sequence is linear, it will take the form an plus b, where a and b are integers. And a is equals to the first difference. So according to this question, a is equals to 3. According to this question, our a is equals to 3. And then we got a. But then what about b? We are to find the value of b. The expression is an plus b. So we will have 3 times n plus b is equals to we are now here working out the value of b. So the value of a is 3, and then n will remain as it is, plus b, it's equals to, you can choose any term here. If you want to choose your n as 1, that means 3n plus b will be equals to 2. But then what is it that you want to choose? What is it that you want to choose? Let us choose our n to be the first position. N will be the first position. So this will be 3 times 1, because instead of n now, you are substituting the position. N is the position, so n is 1. 3 times 1 plus b is equals to, what is the term at position number 1? The term at position number 1 is 2. So this simply means 3 times 1 plus b is equals to 2, meaning 3 plus b is equals to 2. So when we use n as 1, you will get 3 times 1 plus b equals to 2, meaning 3 plus b is equals to 2. You now have to solve for b. Find the value of b. b will be equals to 2 minus 3. And then what is 2 minus 3? b will be equals to negative 1. So your a is equals to 3, remember that, and then b is equals to negative 1. And then we are saying the expressions for the nth term has to take the form an plus b. Now this will simply mean the nth term will be 3n minus 1, because we said 3n plus b. So you simply substitute for the variables a and b. So you substitute a, instead of a you'll have a 3, and instead of b you'll have minus 1. So the expression for the nth term is 3n minus 1. Check, is this expression correct? We can use the second term. It doesn't matter which term you want to choose. You can choose the second term, the third. The most important thing is when you choose, say when you choose the term at position number 2, we expect the answer to be 5. When we choose the term at position number 8, rather position number 3, we expect the term there to be 8. So let us choose position number 2. That is n is equals to 2. When n is equals to 2, it means you'll have 3 times 2 minus 1. And then 3 times 2, this is 6 minus 1. This gives you 5. The answer is 5. So the term at position number 2 is 5. This expression then is correct. The expression for the nth term is 3n minus 1. Let us have a look at another example, rather another revision question. It says, it took 5 workers 6 hours to clean cars on Monday. On Tuesday, the number of cars was increased to 12. How many hours will it take them to clean the same number of cars if they work at the same rate? So the number of workers has been increased to 12 from 5. And then now we have to find the number of hours. Before you can work this question out, you expect the number of hours to decrease because you have increased the manpower here. You have increased workers from 5 to 12. So you expect the number of hours to decrease. This is what you should know before you can start working this. It's an inverse proportion question, this one. So let's see what will happen. 5 workers takes 6 hours. What about 12 workers? Right. A person will take, it's 5 times 6. This will give you 5 times 6, it's 30. This simply means one person will take 30 hours. And then what about 12? 12 workers will take 30 divided by 12. And then what is 30 divided by 12? If you divide by 2, 2 into 30 is 15. And then 2 into 12 is 6. So it's 15 over 6. We can still cancel by 3. 3 into 6 is 2. 3 into 15 is 5. So this is 5 over 2, giving us 1 It's not 1 but rather 2, because you are dividing 5 by 2. 2 into 5 is 2. Remainder 1 over 2 hours. So this is simply saying 12 workers will take 1.5 hours. This is how we work this question out. Let us go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with our revision. Welcome back from the short break. Remember, we are revising Mathematics Paper 2, Junior Certificate. Let us have a look at another revision question. It says solve the equation. So you are given the equation 2y plus 5 equals to 21, and then you are expected to solve this. When you're solving, this simply means you are to find the value of the variable. The variable in this case is y. Now, you are expected to find what y is. 2y plus 5 equals to 21. How do we solve this? We'll have to collect the like terms. All the terms which contain the variable y should be on one side of the equal sign, and then the other terms should be on the other side of the equal sign. So here it means this is 2y plus 5 equals to 21. We'll take 5 this side. And remember, when 5 goes this side, it becomes minus 5. So this will be 2y is equals to 21 minus 5, because it was positive. Now, when you subtract 5 on both sides, becomes 2y equals to negative 2y equals to 21 minus 5. And then this will simply mean 2y is equals to, what is 21 minus 5? This is 16. And then you can divide both sides by 2. Divide by 2. So your y will be equals to 8. Y is equals to 8. This is how we solve this. You can always check to verify your answer so that you don't get this one wrong. It's 2 times 8, because your y is 8. It's 2 times 8. 2 times 8 plus 5 should give you 21. 2 times 8, this is 16 plus 5. This will give you 21. So this is correct. The value of y is 8. Okay, let us have a look at another revision question. It says solve the equation x squared minus 3x minus 15 is equals to 0. This is a quadratic equation. It is a quadratic equation. And then how do you solve quadratic equations? First, check, can this be factored? You try to check out if at all the expression x squared minus 3x minus 15 can be factored. And then how do we factor it? We look for the factors of negative 15 such that when we multiply them, they will give you negative 15. But when we add them, they will give you minus 3. And then when we check this, the factors of negative 15, it's minus 5 and 3. And then 3 and minus 5. So there is no factor which will give us 3 here. Rather negative 3. So what do? The next step is to go to the quadratic formula. And then what does the quadratic formula say? It says given the expression ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, then the value of x will be minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Remember, you are dividing minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Don't divide the plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4a. It has to be from this point up to here. Right. Now, when we compare the equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 with our equation x squared minus 3x minus 15 equals to 0, what we can see here is our a is equals to 1, because this is the coefficient of x. So here our a is equals to 1. And then what about b? B is equals to minus 3. And then what about c? C is equals to negative 15. We now substitute in the quadratic formula. The x then will be x will be equals to, it's minus b. So what is our b? Our b is minus 3. So this will be a minus minus. Minus minus will give us positive 3. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. So we are squaring minus 3. We are not squaring the 3 here, but you are squaring the negative 3. So it's minus 3 times minus 3. Bear that in mind. Minus 4 times 1 times negative 15. The square root sign has to cover the whole of this, divided by 2 times 1, because our a is 1. And then what do we have? We will have 3 plus or minus minus 3 squared is minus 3 times minus 3, and then minus 3 times minus 3 is 9. So this will be a 9, and then I can see a negative and a negative here. So negative times negative is positive, so we'll have plus. So it's 9 plus 60. And remember, the 9 plus 60 should be inside the square root sign, and you are to divide by 2. This will be, what will we have? So this will be 3 plus, it's x equals to, remember that, this will be 3 plus or minus the square root of 69 divided by 2. And then you can take out your calculator, find out what square root of 69 is. Square root of 69 will be equals to, the square root of 69 is equals to 8.3066. You can just write this correct to 5 SF. So x will be equals to 3 plus or minus 8.3066. This is the value of the square root of 69, and then you can divide this by 2. When we divide by 2, what will we get? That this simply means the value of x, it's equals to 3 plus 8.3066 divided by 2, or x can be equals to 3 plus 8.3066, and then you have to divide by 2. This is how we do it. There has to be 2 solutions to this, because this is a quadratic equation, and quadratic equation has got 2 roots, so you expect 2 values of x. In fact, here is supposed to be minus, not plus, because you got the plus here. So what will go in here? It's a minus, not a plus, but a minus. Right. So 3 plus 8.3066 will be 11.3066 divided by 2. And then what about 3 minus 8.3066 by 2? This will be negative 5.3066. Divide this by 2. Okay. And then take your calculator, find out what 11.3066 divided by 2 is. It's 11.3066. Divide this by 2. It's 5.6533. 5.6533. This is the value of x. And then what about negative 5.3066 divided by 2? It's 5.3066 divided by 2. and then what do we have? It's a negative 2.6533. 2.6533. So these are the values of x. The value of x is 5.6533, and then this approximates to 5.65, or x can be equals to negative 2.65. These are the two values of x. These are the roots of our variable x. Remember, when you solve a quadratic equation, you expect to have two roots, and then make sure that you cater for the plus or minus. It's sometimes very tricky for students, and it's quite important that you pay more attention to it so that you don't mess out the plus and the minus. Welcome back from the short break. Remember, we are revising Junior Certificate Mathematics Paper 2, where you are to show your working. It's very important that you show working to avoid loss of marks. Now let us have a look at the revision question. It says express 3 over x plus 2 minus 1 over 2 as a single fraction. So you have to express whatever is given here as a single fraction. This is an algebraic fraction, but when we work out algebraic fractions, you work exactly the same way you can be working numerical fractions. So this simply means when you are given 3 divided by x plus 2 minus 1 over 2. When you have, say for example, when we have 1 over 3 plus 1 over 2, you look for the lowest common multiple of 3 and 2. So this is just the same here. What we'll do is we are going to look for the lowest common multiple of x plus 2 and 2. And then how do we get the lowest common multiple of x plus 2 and 2? We multiply x plus 2 and 2. So we will have x plus 2 times 2. We multiply the denominators. And then x plus 2 into x plus 2 times 2. The x plus 2 cancels x plus 2. So you will remain with 2. And then you will say 2 times 3. 2 times 3 gives you 6. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 2 into x plus 2 times 2. The 2 cancels the 2. So this simply means you now have minus 1. Remember, the sign that we have is a minus. So it's minus 1, and then you open the brackets because you are to multiply minus 1 and x plus 2. So this will be x plus 2. And then you have to remove the brackets for the numerator only. Don't remove the brackets for the denominator. You leave the denominator in bracket form. So this will be 6 minus 1 times x. It's minus x. And then minus 1 times 2. It's minus 2. The negative sign here, minus 1, is multiplying everything inside the bracket. And as such, the minus 1 will affect the plus 2 there. Minus 1 times plus 2 gives you negative 2. It affects the sign inside the brackets there. And then divide this by x plus 2 times 2 times 2. This will be, now simplify, collect the like terms. We have a 6 and minus 2. So this will be 6 minus 2 minus x. You collect the like terms. Divided by x plus 2 times 2. This will be 6 minus 2 minus x. 6 minus 2 is 4 minus x divided by 2 times x plus 2. This is our answer. This is our answer. Remember, in this question, you have to take care of the negative sign here, which is multiplying the terms inside the bracket. And usually this is where students, you make mistakes. Make sure that the negative sign here, rather the negative one, is multiplying everything inside the brackets. And then upon simplifying this question, we found the answer to be 4 minus x divided by 2, open the brackets, x plus 2. Right, this is how we solve this question. But before we can end this lesson, let us have a look at what you are expected to know. The first thing is, make sure that before you can start attempting a question, you read the question and understand it. Don't guess what it says. Try to comprehend the question and then answer it. Secondly, in paper 2, you are expected to bring with you a set of mathematical instruments. And then you are also expected to bring a scientific calculator, because in this paper 2, you are allowed to use a calculator. And then lastly, make sure that you don't panic as you work these questions out, because usually when you start panicking, that's when you now confuse things. So try to arrive at the exam room earlier so that we can settle. From me, keep revising Junior Certificate Mathematics lesson. Till we meet again in the next lesson. Bye-bye.